Is West Dakota Fox News at 9 with Molly Martinez and meteorologist Henry Blakes. Your first news of the night starts right now on West Dakota Fox News at 9.
Good evening, I'm Molly Martinez. It'll be a weekend of watching. More releases are scheduled for the Garrison Dam, coupled with another round of rain headed our way, which means the mighty Missouri could turn menacing. By tomorrow, releases are out of the Garrison Dam and they will hit 60,000 cubic feet per second. That's an increase from the 47,000 cubic feet per second that was being let out on Monday. Preparing for the worst, Bismarck Mayor-elect Steve Bakken and other city employees joined a conference call with the Army Corps this afternoon about what to expect in the coming weeks. Officials say Lake Sakakawea will be rising, maxing out at the top point of 3 feet from the top. However, they say the Garrison Dam has a ton of surface area, so reaching that max would require a lot of rain. But they say better safe than sorry.
We're pretty settled on where we're at right now. We're pretty settled on some increased flows. Like I said, we learned a lot from 2011, and now hopefully we're going to be in a position to mitigate any issues that do arise.
The river level is expected to peak around 13 feet in the next few weeks. Staying ahead of this potential flood is flooding the Bismarck Marina with a whole new set of problems. Reporter John Salling shows us some of those marina mishaps.
The Misty Waters Marina has added extensions to their ramps so people can get out to their boat slips. Though, as you can see, even those won't keep you entirely dry.
It's been a kind of a week-by-week basis right now. We've been moving our ramps and trying to keep access to our slips for our customers, and it's been a trying time for us.
General Manager Larry Hazley says he's keeping an eye on conditions.
We're planning for the worst, but we're wishing for the best. And we notify our customers if I feel there's a imminent, threat to their property or something. I contact them via emails and stuff and keep in contact. And I try to let people know what's going on.
One boater we talked to said if conditions get worse, he might have to buy a trailer to move his craft out of harm's way. For West Dakota Fox News at 9, I'm John Salling.
The rising river has the potential to make for a soggy stay at Fort Abraham Lincoln State Park. The low-lying campgrounds were underwater for 3 months during the 2011 flood. Rising tides have already washed out some of the walking paths, but rangers say if you have reservations this weekend, you should be in the clear.
We'll keep everything open as long as possible. I know people like to plan ahead, and this is a disruption, and we're trying to avoid that at all costs.
Rangers say they have sandbags at the ready should the banks overflow. They're also working to clear overwhelmed drains. Also at the park, the flooding could spell out trouble not just for campers, but for the endangered bird populations who burrow in the muddy banks of the Missouri.
The piping plover and leaves terns nest on sandbars, and when we have these high river flows, a lot of the sandbars are covered up by the water, so that it doesn't help them.
Rangers say swallows, muskrats, and beavers all burrow on the banks and could be in danger if the waters keep rising. The National Weather Service in Bismarck is monitoring the river around the clock. Hydrologist Alan Schlag says when water levels reach 13 feet by the weekend, it will cause enhanced erosion as water rises above the banks. He says some groundwater could seep into basements, but he's not anticipating a repeat of the flood of 2011.
We're still in the single-digit % for risk. It's not a 20% risk. It's not a 50% risk of us getting to problematic water levels. It's something well below 10%, probably in the 2 to 3%, which is still not zero, but it's not something I would lose a lot of sleep over.
Schlag says a flood stage on the Missouri was lowered from 16 feet to 14 feet after the 2011 to account for impacts that occurred 7 years ago. A big flooding factor is obviously rain. More on that now. Meteorologist Henry Blakes.
I'll have that complete forecast for you in a bit.
Thanks, Henry. The Montana Army National Guard and the U.S. Air Force evacuated nearly 140 people from a Bible camp after the road washed out due to flooding. 2 Chinook helicopters were deployed yesterday to ferry 100 teens and 37 adults from the Montana Wilderness School of the Bible near Augusta. Lewis and Clark County Sheriff's Office says the campers had shelter and supplies, but officials decided for safety reasons to get them out of the area. Flooding on the Dearborn River earlier this week made the road to the Bible camp impassable. Bringing you an update on the water situation in Napoleon. North Dakota Department of Health say they'll be doing more testing come Monday. This after benzene was found in a service line. Chuck Hyatt with the department says they'll take 15 to 20 samples of city and well water by 3rd Street and Lake Avenue on the east side of town by Highway 3. The samples will come from both residential and business properties. And we are happy to report the town of Lincoln is no longer under a boil advisory. City officials say today's samples for E. coli came back negative. Those tests were conducted through the state health department. A Barnes County judge is ruling that 500 pounds of marijuana seized in a stop on I-94 near Jamestown can't be used as evidence against the 2 suspects. B. Thor of Wisconsin and Nia Lee of St. Paul were both charged with possession of drugs after the January bust. Judge Jay Schmitz says the officer who made the stop violated their 4th Amendment rights to protect them from unreasonable search and seizure without probable cause. Stutsman County Deputy Matt Thom testified that he stopped the vehicle because it was going 2 miles per hour under the speed limit. The driver was sitting too upright and did not look at the deputy when he drove alongside the car. A Dunseith man who pleaded guilty to manslaughter is now being charged with escape. Authorities say Sean Schroeder walked away from a Fargo halfway house earlier this month while on a 2-week furlough to receive psychological evaluation. Fargo police tracked him down the next day and took him into custody. Schroeder was to be sentenced July 25th in the death of Chad Warren last year. And it's a town of only 16, but Leith garnered national attention after a white supremacist tried to make it his utopia in 2013. The town fought back, and tonight they're still fighting. Some possible white supremacists made their way onto the ballot earlier this month. Residents are now considering a unique solution. John Salling has the details.
It has absolutely nothing to do with the city.
A petition was submitted to Grant County calling for a vote on whether or not to dissolve the town government of Leith, North Dakota.
But we all care about the town, so we don't want to see it, go completely. But I don't know what'll happen with it now. I just don't know.
Makes a motion.
The dissolution comes on the heels of the June 12th election, leading some to believe that it is to stop Michael Bentz and Debbie Nelson from entering office. They moved to town around the time that white supremacist Craig Cobb called for like-minded individuals to take over Leith in 2013.
We were plain people when we lived in Wisconsin, and we're plain workers here. There's nothing special about us. We don't belong to any clubs, any organizations.
Not political, really. Not so here. We just wanted to try to help the city.
According to the mayor, this decision was a long time coming. He says the city only receives about $2,500 a year in taxes, which are mostly spent on running the streetlights and plowing the roads.
When you really look at the nuts and bolts of this thing, not having a city council we're not wiping Leith off the map. Leith is always going to be here. The Leith signs are always going to be there. It's just not going to have a council and a mayor anymore if this dissolution goes through.
On July 23rd, the 16 voters of Leith will decide whether the city continues to be self-governing or hands over its assets to the county.
After more than 2 decades with the North Dakota Highway Patrol, Colonel Mike Gerhardt is retiring. Gerhardt started on the force at the age of just 22. He was appointed to superintendent by the agency by both Governor Doug Burgum and Jack Dalrymple. Gerhardt has worn many hats as regional sergeant, safety and education office, training director, and fields operations commander. He says he's confident the department is left in good hands with the new appointment of the head of the NDHP, Brendan Solberg. Gerhardt says for the next 5 weeks, he will be enjoying a much-needed vacation, and he already has a job lined up with the state. Well, another bizarre twist in the race for North Dakota Secretary of State. The state canvassing board certified election results today, and turns out there will only be one candidate on the November ballot. Libertarian candidate Roland Reimers did not get enough votes on June 12th. Current Secretary of State Al Jaeger is in the process of collecting signatures to get his name on the ballot. So right now it's just Democrat Josh Boucher. Election Director John Arnold says they will still be the ones certifying Jaeger's petition when it's submitted.
everybody has to gather signatures to get on the county ballot. The county auditor, if they have a competitor in the election, they still have to certify those signatures. It's the exact same thing. We're just doing our duty.
Arnold adds that Reamers requested a recount but wasn't entitled to call for one. For the 2020 June election, the Libertarian Party will need to submit 7,000 signatures to be recognized as an organized political party. Speaking of politics, West Dakota Fox and KFYR TV are your election leaders, and we teamed up with Mason-Dixon Polling to give you results from key races and issues going on in the general election in November. One of the questions we asked North Dakota voters was, what national issues currently are the most important to you as a voter? The economy and health care were the most important at 21% and 19%, followed by immigration and border security. Guns were also a top talker. National security, terrorism, and foreign policy accounted for 9%. Taxes, government spending, and the national debt followed with 8%. U.S. trade policy and tariffs with 6%. And social issues like abortion and same-sex marriage was 5%. Russian collusion or removing President Trump from office and other unsure things rounded out the rest of the issues. To see results from the Secretary, Senate, and House race and other big races and issues, you can check our website, yournewsleader.com. We're not the only ones worried about flooding tonight. Heavy rains are turning roads into rivers in Virginia. This is the scene in Greene County, where floodwaters are taking over, causing bridges and roads to close. A gas leak causing a house to explode in Columbus, Ohio this morning. The building was supposed to be vacant, but had issues with people breaking in. According to the fire department, crews say they'll conduct a full investigation into what happened. Evacuation orders are in place tonight after a train transporting crude oil derails over a body of water in Iowa. This is near Dune. You can see 31 tankers toppled into the water, spilling their contents. It's not clear how much oil spilled or if it is contaminating the water supply. In legal news, Virginia lawmakers are calling on the White House for answers after claims of alleged abuse at an immigrant juvenile center in the state. According to the Associated Press, 6 teens have made sworn statements saying they were severely abused between 2015 and 2018. The teens saying they were bound, beaten, and put into solitary confinement. Lawmakers are now asking whether regulators received any past complaints about the facility. Officials at the center have not provided any statements denying or confirming the abuse. In Washington, a landmark ruling for digital privacy rights activists. The Supreme Court says law enforcement must now obtain a warrant to track an individual's location through cell phone records. In a 5-4 decision, with Chief Justice John Roberts writing the majority opinion, the nation's highest court says it's a violation of the Fourth Amendment for police to access a person's cell phone location history, which is stored by a telecommunication company without a search warrant. There's a new effort to curb malaria by creating mosquitoes that kill each other. It's being spearheaded by Bill Gates. The plan is to create genetically modified male mosquitoes that mate with their female counterparts in the wild. Only female mosquitoes bite, so the Army's gene-engineered male mosquitoes would be safe to humans. What's important is that these male mosquitoes contain a self-limiting gene that gets passed on to the female mates. Eventually, those females would be wiped out. Which sandwich shop opened up less than a month ago, and they've been busy serving up all types of sandwiches to their customers. We spoke to the store owner, who says there's something for everyone.
We offer an abundance of sandwiches. Basically anything your taste buds want, we got it.
Henry, that place looks good. Let's go there.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Actually, I've been checking it out. I've been seeing it quite a bit. And we are talking about, probably some good food. I kind of want to try them out.
All right, it's a date, Henry.
Yeah, we need to make a date when we're going.
Anytime tomorrow.
Anytime tomorrow.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll hold you that. We're talking about waking up at near 60 degrees for your Saturday morning. And there will be a chance of some scattered showers and thunderstorms kind of increasing during the mid to late morning hours, especially during the afternoon. So for tomorrow, I recommend you have the rain gear handy, especially if you're outdoors. More hit and miss showers and storms, but still the greater chances are there this weekend into your Monday. After that, things kind of shape up for the better. A little bit drier, but hey, as long as we don't get too much rain at once, things should be pretty good.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to have a great weekend. We hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.